Good day and welcome to my daily devotional for Saturday the 3rd of December. We are now well into the period of Advent, approaching the celebrations of Christmas. Therefore we will look at parts of Luke chapters 1 and 2. To begin with, Luke chapter 1 and verses 5 to 7. In the days of Herod, king of the Jews, there was a certain priest named Zacharias, which means remembered of Jehovah, of the division of Abijah, which means my father is Jehovah. His wife Elizabeth, meaning oath of God, was a descendant of Aaron, meaning light bringer. They were both righteous in the sight of God and in all the commandments, and they were blameless in the righteousness of the Lord. But they did not have a child, because Elizabeth was barren, and both of them were getting old. We may wonder from where Luke gathered this information. We can only assume that when Luke wrote his gospel, both Zacharias and Elizabeth had been dead for some time, since they were in old age when John the Baptist was born. Therefore, Luke would not have known them personally. However, in verse 36, we learn that Elizabeth was related to Mary. Now, in view of this, it would seem likely that Mary and Joseph's other children would have been the source of Luke's information. It is probable they would have known of these events, and some may still have been alive when Luke was writing. Zacharias was a priest, of whom there were thousands. William Barclay says that there were about 20,000 at that time. Zacharias belonged to the priestly division of Abijah, and they formed the 8th division of priests to serve in the temple. Elizabeth also had a priestly family tree, going all the way back to Aaron, which means brother, who was the brother of Moses. Every believer has the calling from God of being a priest. In 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9, we read these words, "But you are not like that, for you are a chosen people. You are a kingdom of priests, God's holy nation, his very own possession. This is so that you can show others the goodness of God, for he called you out of the darkness into his wonderful light." The burden on Zacharias and Elizabeth was that they had no children. In those days, this was always seen to be the fault of the wife, and was actually grounds for divorce. Some rabbis listed childlessness as grounds for being thrown out of the family of God. Zacharias and Elizabeth were highly regarded as a godly couple, loyal to God's word and blameless in all things. Their affliction of not having children did not turn them against God. Instead, they seem to have become very devoted to him in all things. There are some afflictions that may be with us throughout our life. Paul talks of this as his thorn in the flesh in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 19, which 3 times he requested that Jesus remove from him. Yet the reply of Jesus was, "My gracious favour is all you need. My power works best in your weakness." These are words that should inspire us to remain faithful to him who is always faithful to us, whatever our circumstances.